if I told you that God is showing clear signs He's preparing you for marriage, but they're probably not the signs you're looking for? Today, I'm sharing 5 biblical signs that God is actively preparing you for marriage, and they might surprise you. In fact, one of these signs is so crucial that most Christian singles completely miss it, even though it's one of the clearest indicators of God's preparation. After studying countless biblical marriages and mentoring Christian singles, I discovered something fascinating. The signs of marriage preparation have nothing to do with finding the right person. They're all about becoming the right person. And that commonly missed sign, it has everything to do with what God develops before He ever brings divine connection. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize these signs in your own life, and more importantly, how to respond when you see them. These aren't surface level signs like feeling ready or having your life together. These are deep spiritual markers that God consistently develops before bringing divine connections. And when we get to that third sign, the one most people miss, it might completely elevate how you view your preparation. If you ever felt like God is preparing you for marriage, but you're not quite sure what to look for, today might change everything you thought you knew about marriage preparation. Hey everyone, I'm Readiness L. Strong, and I help Christian singles prepare for marriage God's way. Welcome to Love Elevated TV, where we elevate your waiting season into purpose-filled preparation. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly content focused on biblical marriage preparation. Now let's dive into today's topic. Maybe you've been praying, waiting, and wondering if you're missing something important. You see, while most believers are looking for obvious signs like feeling ready or meeting potential partners, they're missing the deeper spiritual markers that God consistently develops before bringing divine connections. These signs aren't what you might expect. They're not about finding the right person, having the perfect job, or even reaching a certain age. They're about something much more significant. Stay until the end, because when we get to sign number 3, the one that 90% of singles miss, it might completely elevate how you view your preparation season. Plus, I'm sharing exactly how to recognize and respond to each of these signs in your own life. The first sign God is preparing you for marriage might actually feel uncomfortable. It's what I call divine discontent. This isn't just being tired of being single. It's a holy dissatisfaction that God often creates before significant transitions. Let me explain using David's story. Before he became king and married wisely, God created a holy dissatisfaction with his current season. But notice something crucial. David didn't try to escape his season as a shepherd. Instead, he used that divine discontent to develop deeper worship, build faithful character, grow in responsibility, and strengthen his relationship with God. The same pattern appears with Moses. Before meeting Zipporah, he experienced divine discontent in Egypt that led him to choose God's way over comfort. Even Joseph experienced this in Potiphar's house, a holy dissatisfaction that drove him closer to God rather into premature relationships. Here's what this divine discontent looks like in your life. You're not just discontent being single, you're hungry for spiritual growth. You feel a deep stirring for greater purpose beyond relationship status. You're dissatisfied with spiritual shallowness in yourself and in others. You're driven toward deeper intimacy with God. You're unwilling to settle for relationships that don't honor God. And the key difference is this: divine discontent drives you toward God, not just toward marriage. It makes you want to grow, develop, and mature spiritually. It's not about escaping singleness. It's about embracing elevation. Many singles mistake natural loneliness for divine discontent. But here's how to recognize the difference. Natural loneliness makes you desperate for any relationship. Divine discontent makes you unwilling to settle for less than God's best. Natural loneliness focuses on what you lack. Divine discontent focuses on what God is developing. The second sign is often the most challenging. God begins an intense season of character refinement. This is where many singles get discouraged because refinement isn't always comfortable. Look at Ruth's journey. Before meeting Boaz, God developed selfless loyalty through her commitment to Naomi, diligent work ethic in the fields, humble submission to guidance, and integrity in all relationships. But notice, Ruth didn't know Boaz existed when she was developing these qualities. She was simply being faithful in her current season. We see this same pattern with Joseph. Before God brought him into marriage and leadership, he spent years refining Joseph's character through various trials. In Potiphar's house, Joseph learned integrity. In prison, he developed patience. In the palace, he cultivated wisdom. Each season built upon the previous one. The refinement process often feels like pressure. You might experience increased challenges that test your character, opportunities to choose integrity over convenience, situations that develop patience and trust, relationships that expose growth areas, and circumstances that reveal heart attitudes. But here's what makes this a sign of preparation. You're responding differently to challenges than before. You're choosing growth over constant consistently. You're seeing character development as essential, not optional. You're welcoming refinement instead of resisting it. You're allowing God to deal with root issues, not just surface behaviors. Now, what you're about to discover completely changed how I view marriage preparation. This next sign is the game changer, the one most singles miss because they're too focused on looking for romantic confirmations. But once you understand this, you'll never view your preparation season the same way. The third sign is purpose activation. I see this pattern consistently in scripture, but it's the one most Christian singles miss because they're focused on finding a spouse rather than fulfilling their calling. This sign is so crucial because it actually determines who God will bring into your life. Think about it. Before bringing Esther to the palace, God first activated her purpose. Before she ever met the king, her calling was being established. She wasn't focused on finding a husband. She was being positioned for kingdom impact. Her marriage was actually a vehicle for her greater purpose, not the purpose itself. We see the same pattern with Moses. Before he met Zipporah, God was activating his leadership calling. With Priscilla and Aquila, God developed their ministry gifts individually before bringing them together for kingdom impact. Even with Ruth and Boaz, both were walking in their purpose when God orchestrated their divine connection. Before bringing a spouse, God often begins to clarify your unique calling and assignment, opening unexpected ministry doors, developing your spiritual gifts in new ways, and positions you for greater influence. Align you with kingdom opportunities. And here's why most people miss this sign. They're looking for relationship opportunities instead of ministry opportunities. They view purpose as something to pursue after marriage. They don't recognize ministry development as marriage preparation. They separate their calling from their desire for marriage. But when God is preparing you for marriage, he often activates your purpose first because your purpose will influence who you're prepared to partner with, where you're positioned to serve, how you're equipped to impact, what kind of support you'll need, which sphere of influence you'll share. The fourth sign is crucial. God begins a season of relationship healing. This isn't just about healing from past romantic relationships. It's about healing every relationship pattern that could hinder your future marriage. Look at Jacob's story. God had to heal his relational patterns before he could enter a healthy marriage. This involved confronting his tendency to manipulate, healing his father wound, reconciling with his brother, learning to trust God's timing, developing emotional maturity. Before bringing healthy partnership, God will heal past wounds thoroughly, break generational relationship patterns, establish proper biblical boundaries, develop emotional and spiritual maturity, restore trust in his timing. This often looks like processing past hurts with new clarity, forgiving without an agenda, breaking unhealthy soul ties completely, learning to set and maintain boundaries, developing healthy relationship patterns. This healing is happening when you stop repeating old relationship patterns. You're not triggered by past situations. You can celebrate others' relationships. You can trust God's timing completely. You're content but prepared for change. The final is an increase in spiritual authority. This is perhaps the most overlooked but significant sign of marriage preparation. Before marriage, God develops a deeper, more consistent prayer life, stronger faith through testing, heightened spiritual discernment, growing kingdom authority, clear hearing from God. Samuel's preparation shows us his pattern. He learned to hear God's voice clearly. He developed spiritual authority gradually. He walked in prophetic accuracy consistently. He led with spiritual wisdom daily. This looks like growing confidence in hearing God's voice, increased responsibility in ministry, deeper revelation in Bible study, authority and spiritual warfare, leadership opportunities emerging. You'll notice others seeking your spiritual insight, increasing effectiveness in prayer, deeper understanding of Scripture, and growing influence in ministry. Clear divine direction. These signs aren't a checklist. They're evidence of God's active preparation in your life. They're not about proving you're ready. They're about positioning for purpose. Take our free marriage readiness assessment to discover where you are in God's preparation process. The link is in the description. And if you're ready to learn how to position yourself for marriage God's way, join my free masterclass on December 15th. I'll show you the exact framework for preparation and positioning. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our Kingdom Marriage Preparation content. See you in the masterclass.